Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Mattel DC Universe Classics Wave 18. We're looking today at Figure 5, Samurai. Samurai does include one of the arms required to finish Apache Chief. And as mentioned already in these reviews, this Wave 18 was a very Super Friends and Challenge of Super Friends heavily inspired wave. Good or bad, I suppose if you are within my age, my old man age, and you collected some of the older figures from the Super Friends line, or the Superpowers line, or really if you just grew up watching the older cartoons, figures like this would be ideal pickups. Probably for other people, not so much. Not so much. On the back of the package, those figures you could collect to build Apache Chief would be Black Vulcan, El Dorado, Toyman, Captain Boomerang, Samurai, and Bronze Tiger. There's Apache Chief on the side there. Awesome. As for the side, there's a picture of Samurai. His biography says, granted superhuman powers by the new gods on New Genesis, history professor Toshio Ito vowed to use his new powers for good. He patterned his crime-fighting persona after the heroes he admired most, the samurai warriors of ancient Japan. Guided by the ancient samurai code of honor, Samurai is a fine role model and member of the Super Friends in their global crusade against evil. First appearance, I think also Super Friends, I think Black Vulcan should same appearance. The all-new Super Friends Hour, September 1977. Real name Toshio Ito. Occupation history professor, base of operations, Hall of Justice. Special abilities, can summon strong winds that allow him to fly or knock down foes. Summon flames, cast illusions, and invisibility. What I am going to do is take a break. Going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Samurai. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. If you're keeping tabs, you'll know that Apache Chief is now 2 arms down. Now scratch that, make that 1 arm down, as of course Samurai does include one of the arms. Oh, hold on there, Samurai. Hold on. We'll get to you in a second, my friend. Don't fret. There we go. Let's take the arm that came with Samurai and let's peg this into place on Apache Chief. Oh, there he goes again. Just going to move the joint down here for a second. Take Apache Chief. Make your decisions now as to whether you want to take off the vest. No? Yeah, me neither. Keep the vest on. That's the way Apache Chief would roll. I'm all about keeping characters the way that they would roll, and Apache Chief would totally roll using his vest. So there you go. Arm is in place. We now have 1 arm, 1 piece left to forming Apache Chief. Looks awesome. Can't wait. Let's move him aside. Picking up Samurai where we left off. He's a good figure. He's definitely a good figure. One thing I really like about Samurai is the fact that he has he has a lot of new components to him. For starters, he does have the smaller body, which one thing I really like. But he's got a lot of new tools, like the legs, for example, with the boots. They're not just simply painted on, which I really like as well. And then, of course, the more obvious piece, he's got this extra rubber piece that's been put over top of his torso. It is a separate piece. And I suppose if you wanted to take it off, you could. There's nothing really attaching it aside from the bottom pieces here. But once you take them off, they're not snapped or anything. You would have to glue it back on. So just going to leave that on as it is. I guess the only downside with it being a loose piece is it does flop around a lot. You kind of have to take it and just pull it down enough that it's not going to move around on you. He does have one accessory. And no, it's not a Superpowers stand. I know. Why? For all the other times that we've got a Superpowers figure entry for any of the waves, we always get a Super Friends or Superpowers display stand. Again, Samurai gets nothing. He does have his flaming corn knife or sword. I know it's not made out of corn, but it kind of looks like corn. Kind of looks like something merman would use. It's a clear, as you can see, it's a clear yellow plastic, very, very soft, and sadly it's gotten a little warped, I guess being in display in the package. But I would display him with it anyways. Being that he is samurai and he can turn into like a cyclone and all that kind of stuff, other accessories would have been nice to have included. I even think like Red Tornado, I don't think even came with anything either, did he? But something that you could have put around him would have been neat. Sadly, he doesn't come with that. He doesn't come with really anything aside from his sword and the collect and connect piece. As for his face is awesome. It is very, very awesome. I think that he's such a very cool face. I mean, really, as a customizer too, not that I would condone painting your figures, but if you gave this like a stone finish, you could make him into one of those really, really cool ancient stone warriors. Because he's definitely got that look going on. He looks really, really cool. Garish, I suppose some would consider with the yellow and the orange and everything else, but Super Friends, that's kind of the way it was. I think he definitely works well as a figure. He's very distinctly different than some of the other things that we've gotten in the DC Universe as a whole. Characters like this, characters like Mantis, are all characters that, because they have all these extra components to them, definitely they do stand out on a shelf with other DC Universe figures. In the way of his articulation, I'm just going to take the sword off here. He has standard DC Universe fare in the way of articulation. So he has a ball jointed head, the upper torso bend, he has a pin and socket shoulder. You know where this goes. Rotation in the bicep, single bend in the elbow. He has the rotation in the hand, rotation in the waist, legs go forward, back, out, rotation in the thigh, bend at the knee, bend in the foot as well. And luckily, you'll be happy to know that all the joints on Samurai here are nice and stiff. There's nothing loose about this figure, which is also a plus. The only thing I really say is, again, Mattel, for how many of these characters are represented in either Super Powers or Super Friends, why could we not have gotten stands? I mean, luckily we have enough stands from other waves that we could use them for these figures. You can also get the DC Universe, Super Friends, or Super Powers display stands on their own, but really, to give us a sword could have easily given us a base as well. Samurai, I really like this figure. I'm going to give him a 7.5. As a whole, he's done really, really well, but as the story goes with all the other figures I've been talking about in this wave, unless you grew up with the cartoon or the toy lines that these are based off of, some newer collectors, the younger collectors out there, may not have any idea who Samurai is. None whatsoever. So therefore, poor Samurai may not have sold. Along with Bronze Tiger, maybe even along with Black Vulcan, those figures, unless the die-hard collectors like myself are out there picking them up because it's nostalgic, other collectors may just have passed. And that's really a shame. Today's Toy Spot, however, we were looking at the DC Universe Wave 18. We're looking today at Samurai. And as you know, we are now one figure away from finishing Apache Chief, and that would be Toyman. His review is right around the corner, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.